What up, though? What up, though? What up, though? It's your boy, Billiam. Hey, man, I hope everybody enjoying their New Year so far. Hope everything going smooth. Just remember, anything ain't going right, don't go right. Hey, man, make it work. No excuses. Nobody coming to save you, I promise. I just had to get that off my chest. Feeling pretty good today. Wanted to give some motivation. Listen, bro, one day we in the dorm. We cooling, everything smooth. It's a good day. It's a sunny day. We had just left the yard. I went out there, so-called myself working out. Shit didn't last 32 seconds. And it was over with. I was sweating like a slave. This one I was a little more on the healthier side, a little chubby. So that wasn't working for me. Came back in, everybody cool, bro. Ain't nobody fighting, ain't nobody tweaking, ain't nobody doing nothing. I'm sitting on the rail, just rolled me up a Chris Brown CD. Before I even get the wick and light it, I'm sitting on the rail, you see the CERT team, it's like two CERT team coming down the walk. So, everybody go scream, CERT team on the walk, CERT team on the walk. So everybody who got phones, got a candle bar, you got to hide it, putting your stuff up, whatever you got to do. They bringing this young man in, Caucasian guy, a lot of tattoos. He looks young. Past the buildings, they bring him up to our building. They make him wait outside the salad poke for a minute. The CERT team go in, talk to the officer that's working our booth. I guess they registering his ID with this dorm or whatever. They pop the door. They let him inside the salad port. So he's in between our dorm and outside. He's in that middle part. Somebody asked me in the last video, what is the salad port? Maybe it's somebody new, but that's the space in between the dorm and outside the building. It's like a little space in between there. I see the CERT team talking to him, you know what I'm saying? So everybody looking at him, just looking a little strange already, you know what I'm saying? Everybody like, the hell buddy got going on, you know what I'm saying? When they come in, CERT team make everybody line up on the door. CERT team said, how many open rooms in here? Raise your hand if you got an open room. So I had an open room, but I ain't raising my hand. He like, hey man, how many open rooms in here? If I got to go look at the sheet and there's open rooms in here, I'm finna lock y'all down. So it was only like 3 of us in the room, in the dorm with an open room. So, we all throw our hands up. He pointed straight to me, told him go up there because I was the closest one to the dorm. To the door. I was at the top, almost all the way to the right, probably 3 doors down from the right. The other 2 people who had open rooms was further on that side. So the CERT team, he said, go up there to him right there who hand raised. So he coming up here. I'm like, man. So the CERT team look at the room number, then he go back to the booth. I guess they registering him in my room. Little dude come up there. He's shorter than me. He probably about 5'5", short as hell. No offense to my 5'5" fellas. As he gets closer, it's just something about him that gives off ghost face. I guess I told y'all, man, I've been around people in prison for so long, especially like gang member type people, to the point I can kind of look at you and be like, yeah, he a blood. Oh, he a Crip. He a ghost face. Oh, nah, he G. You know what I'm saying? I can kind of read it. So he come walking up. I pull the door up and I'm like, what's up, folks? He just walk in. He look at me and just walk in. I'm like, oh, shit, I hope this young nigga don't. Because he looked like about 21, 22. He looked like early 20s. I'm like, bro, I hope he don't come here with this bullshit. He got tattoos everywhere. I can't even make out what none of this shit say. It looked like somebody just, 2 3-year-olds just got some crayons, some black crayons and just scribbled everywhere. This man tatted up everywhere. So after the CERT team leave from over there, he walk upstairs. So I'm like, man, he come up there to me. He like, hey, man, we ain't going to have no problems, right? I'm like, what the fuck, we're going to have some problems for? He like, I don't want no problems with him. This is a good inmate, young inmate. He new to the system. I don't want to have no problems. Immediately in my mind, I'm knowing something ain't right because CERT team don't do that unless it's something. The last person I remember CERT team doing that with, this person was a real big snitch and snitched on some very high-ranking, important people. You know what I'm saying? Don't bring nobody in my room like that then telling me it ain't gonna be no problems and shit. I don't know. It depends. I don't know. I can't tell the future. I don't know if it's gonna be a problem. We got to see how how it goes after you leave. So I'm like, nah, we ain't gonna have no problem. So I look at him. He just putting stuff in the box, you know what I'm saying? He like, man, it's a good kid, bro. He ain't got that much time. He just trying to do his time and go home. You know, people been bullying him, messing with him and stuff. I'm like, all right, well, I mean, I told Search straight up. I'm like, I mean, I ain't no nigga war daddy or nothing. I ain't no nigga protector. You know, God is the almighty protector, nigga, not me. So you can't tell me. So 13 started laughing. He like, nah, I ain't saying that. I'm just saying I don't want no problems. You know, I want him to be good in his room. I'm like, sir, I mean, he gonna be good as long as he cool, you know, but it ain't no, you feel me? So he like, all right, for sure. And he looked at the dude, he said, you good, John? And he did the thumbs up, and 13 walked off. So I looking there at him, I walk off, I push the door up for him for a minute, and I go to walking off. Soon I walk off, I look back, he pushed the door wide open. So a couple of my homeboys, they come down here, they're like, gee, what the hell 13 was saying? So I tell them everything 13 said. They said, what the hell? I'm like, yeah, buddy, goddamn, he got something going on. Man, please. I said, I'm going to get to the bottom of it, though. So I go back down there. He ain't had that much stuff in his tote anyway. So he got the bag, he throwing it on the bed. Not the bag. You know, we turned the blanket into a bag and put all our stuff in there. His stuff was empty at this point. He throwing the blanket on the bed as I'm walking, turning the corner. He don't make it up or nothing. He just throw it up there and then sits down on my bunk. Now, he did sit at the foot part, but he sat down on the bunk immediately. No. Whoa. You know, you do that with people you cool with, nigga. I don't even know you. You know what I'm saying? So soon I step in the room, I'm like, hey, G. So he look up at him. I'm like, folks, get up off my bed, folks. What the hell you just come sit down on the man bed for, bro? So he looking at me in my eyes and was like, my bad. Still sitting there. I'm like, bro, get off of my bed, G. So he stand up, he get off the bed. He step over like a damn robot, stepping over real stiff. I'm like, bro, what's up with you, bro? You all right? He like, yeah, I'm good. What's your name, folks? Jonathan, but you could call me John. How old you is? 22. How long you been locked up? 1 year. How much longer you got? 1 year. I'm like, bro, how the hell you end up at a level 5 prison? You got 2 years. I mean, I know people do, but you don't look like. But while I'm talking to him, I'm observing. I see something on his neck that looked like a damn 6-point star. But I said, no. I know that can't be the case. You know what I'm saying? I just know for sure that's not what's going on here. So while he talking and, you know, moving around, I'm just trying to observe. I'm asking him where he from. He said he from Macon or something like that. I'm just looking at everything. I'm trying to see if it's an extra point or whatever, or anything like that. And it ain't. It was a 6-point star, which represents a few things. But in the Georgia State Prison, you walk in with a 6-point star, everybody immediately assuming you GD. So I don't say nothing about the star for a minute because I'm just trying to observe, and I don't tell, you know, nobody else because I'm like, I don't want nobody to start pressing on because he got to have something funny going on because of what 13 just came here and said, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just talking to him, asking him, do he smoke? He like, yeah, he smoke Chris Brown, Al Green. I say, you smoke cream, meth? He stumbled for a minute. Nah, I don't do that. I'm like, oh, okay. And I told him, like, listen, I know what 13 said, but I don't do meth heads, bro. I don't do that at all. So if you smoke that, I promise you're going to come up out this room. So he like, nah, I don't smoke that or nothing. Woo. So everything smooth. He seemed cool. I noticed he didn't have no food in his box. I asked him if he was hungry a little later on. He told me, yeah. Threw him 2 soups. He wouldn't leave out the dorm, bro, for chow. Bruh, I watched this man for about 3 days straight not go eat nothing. Now, I looked out for him the first day. But then, you know, after that, I'm like, hey, G, man, you ain't eating your ass already. Don't weigh but 30 pounds soaking wet. Why the hell you don't never go to eat? I just don't like leaving out. I just don't like leaving out. Like, he was very, very, very awkward, bro. Very awkward. So one morning I get up, bro. This is probably about his 4th or 5th day as my roommate. I get up, I grab my toothbrush out my box, I grab my rag, I'm unrolling the tissue off the top part of my toothbrush because I used to keep tissue wrapped over the brush part and like an inch under it just because, you know. I step over to the sink. Something immediately pisses me off. his toothbrush was on the sink. This toothbrush looked a little familiar though, but I mean, all prison toothbrushes look familiar, I guess. But it pissed me off because, come on, bro, it's a chain gang rule. You don't leave no toothbrush on the sink, bro. We both got to use this sink. I don't want to, even though it's a toothbrush, it's just something disgusting about a toothbrush. You know what I'm saying? I know y'all probably leave y'all toothbrush on the sink at the house, but in the prison, bro, it's just something disgusting about looking at somebody's toothbrush. Just, ugh, I don't know how to describe that. I look over at him. He's still knocked out asleep. I could hear him snoring. I said, I'm going to help this young fella out, and I explained it to him when he wake up. Even though I know in prison you're not supposed to touch nobody's stuff, because I definitely told him don't touch nothing that belongs to me. He only been here a year. I've been here several years. I'm going to help him out. I grab the toothbrush, and I go to moving it this way, preparing to turn and go set it on top or inside of his locker box. When I turn this way, when I'm pulling it, I smell a whiff. Oh my God. Bruh, this was the most disrespectful smell I had ever smelled in my life. And whoa. Before I even continue, I don't want nobody trying to make it seem like I'm just around here sniffing niggas' toothbrushes and shit. That's not what happened. I'm telling you, it was so strong. When I'm moving it, I smelt it. I'm like, what the fuck? So I go to walking over here to his box. And bro, this ain't nothing weird or nothing, but just to confirm that I wasn't tripping. I did pull it a little closer just to make sure. Bro, it smelled like shit. I promise you. Damn, that burnt the hairs out my nose. I put it in his box. His box was cracked open. I sat it in his box. I went over there. I couldn't even brush my teeth yet. I had to grab some of the chemicals and spray where his toothbrush was at. Wipe it off. I wiped out, cleaned out the whole sink. Then I went to doing my morning routine. He eventually get up. I was outside the cell, but I could see the light turn on. He get up and stuff. I guess doing his morning routine or whatever. I come back in the room. When I come back in the room, he was bent down, tying his shoes up. He had some like the white packet shoes. First thing I do, I notice, I look over to the sink. The toothbrush was back right there. I said, hey, John. He looked up, looking at me. Yeah. I say, listen, bro, I know you ain't been locked up that long. I ain't trying to tell you what to do. You know, you're a grown man or whatever, but I'm just about to teach you something about chain gang etiquette. So he just looking at me. He didn't say nothing. I say, you don't leave your toothbrush on the sink like this, bro. I said, because we both got to use this sink. You know what I'm saying? I just don't want your residue from your toothbrush right here. What if I put me a drink in the sink with some ice for it to, you know, get cold and your toothbrush right here, some of the shit from your teeth and your mouth drizzle down into the ice, even though the drink cold, I'm going to be disgusted drinking my drink, just wondering if some of your toothbrush residue touched the can and then I touch it with my hand and and then if I waste some of the drink on my finger and I lick it off, now I'm wondering is your tooth, like, bro, it's just too much shit for me to think about. And it's just a respect thing, bro. Don't nobody want to see your toothbrush, bro. So he was like, yeah. That's it. Yeah. Looking at me. Go to tying up the other shoe. So I'm like, yeah, for sure. I leave out. I go, the officer come in there, stand by for child, blah, 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 all this. I'm out politicking, chopping it up with a couple guys that I rock with. He don't go to child. He just busting laps, walking around. I eventually go back in the room, pull my phone back out. Doing some stuff on the phone, bro. I smell that smell, bro. I'm like, bro, what the fuck, bro? First thing I do, get up, go look in the toilet, make sure I ain't tripping. Next thing I do is look at the sink. That toothbrush is still right there in that same spot. So I'm like, bro, what the fuck do this young man got going on, bro? I just told you this shit, bro. So now I'm like, it's a serious reason why CERT said what they said. You know what I'm saying? I called bro up there to the room. He come up there. I'm like, step in, bro. He stand outside the door like he timid. Yeah, what's up? I'm like, step in, bro. He like, what's up? I'm like, bro, I'm trying to talk to you. Step in the room, folks. He step in the room. So I step back. So the toilet right here in the middle. I'm right here. He right here. The sink right here with the toothbrush right there. The disrespectful ass toothbrush. I say, bro, you must forgot what we just talked about. He said, what? I pointed to the toothbrush. I said, bro, I was just explaining to you, and I was talking very calm, bro. I said, bro, I just explained to you about the toothbrush, you know what I'm saying, and shit like this, whoop, whoop, whoop. Bro, this man picked the toothbrush up. This man dipped that bitch in the toilet water. Looked me clean in my eyes. Put the toothbrush in his mouth and said, Not breaking eye contact with me, bro. I damn near threw up in my fucking mouth. That shit was so disgusting. I said, Jonathan. So he jumped, he stopped. I said, bro, what the fuck are you doing, folks? This man looked me in my eyes and said, with a straight face, no laughing, no joking, with a straight face, this man, this man looked me in my eyes with a straight face. Hold on, let me stop smiling. This man looked me in my eyes and said, hold on, bro, I need to make a straight face. Come on, nigga. This man looked me in my eyes and said, that's my travel toothbrush. I said, yo, travel toothbrush? He said, yeah. I said, motherfucker, you in the, where the fuck you traveling to? You in the sale, nigga. What you mean your travel toothbrush? Then I paused for a minute. I'm like, bro, is something wrong with this nigga? He's staring me in my eyes. The nigga put the toothbrush back in his mouth, holding it in his mouth, and looked at me and said, I'm going to act like this a toothbrush. That nigga said, I'm not scared of germs. I'm scared of people. I said, bro, take that fucking toothbrush out your mouth, bro. He pulled it out of his mouth. I said, you say what? He said, I'm not scared of germs. I'm scared of people. I said, bro, what the fuck that supposed to mean, bro? He was like, it's just how I survive. So I'm sitting back in my mind. I'm trying to think, and I keep looking at that tattoo, and I'm just trying to think so much. What the fuck could that mean? I'm not scared of germs. I'm scared of people. This my travel toothbrush. Motherfucker, you not traveling nowhere. You was in the Georgia Department of Corrections. The only traveling you doing is when they tell you pack it up because you transferring to another prison. So I said, bro, explain to me what you mean, bro. He, like, doing all this extra shit. And one thing you learn in prison, bro, about people is it's a lot of people that play crazy for multiple different reasons. And that's what I assumed was going on, because if you was crazy for real and throwed like that for real, G, they wouldn't even put you in this dorm. You know what I'm saying? So after he go to doing all this stupid ass shit, looking around, I say, listen, folks, let me explain something to you. I said, I think I got an idea of what you got going on. I don't really know. I said, but bro, that shit not gonna fly in here, bro. I'm telling you, you about to either talk to me or I'm going to personally pack your shit up and throw it out this room, bro. Immediately, that man said, you heard what the CERT team said. I said, I don't give a fuck what the CERT team said, bro. I said, listen, you is at a level 5 prison serving 1 year. You already did a year, wherever. You're serving 1 year in a prison, and I ain't tell him how much time I had. I had to cap him down. I said, nigga, you serving 1 year in a prison where nigga, we ain't getting out. You around lifers, nigga. We don't know when we getting out. That nigga eyes got big as hell. I said, bro, I know when a nigga playing games. I said, bro, I don't know what the fuck you got going on, but you better stop that shit, bro. You better let a nigga know something, because if you that mental health and throw, they need to get you the fuck on and put you in another dorm, folks. He got real quiet. He dropped his head. He started looking like he had sense then. He wasn't saying nothing. I'm standing in front of this nigga for about a minute straight. I'm trying to let him take his time. He wasn't saying 2 words. I said, bro, what's that tattoo on your neck, folk? He gonna immediately turn to the other side, talking about, which one? This one? He wasn't talking stupid, wasn't, yeah, all that part. He was talking regular. Which one? This one? On the exact opposite side that he know I was talking about. I said, no, I'm not talking about that one. You know which one I'm talking about. I'm talking about that 6-point star on your neck. He asked me, was I GD? I told him no. He asked me, will I make sure I don't say nothing to nobody? I'm like, bro, we're not doing all this fucking trivia shit, bro. What you got going on? And then the nigga went down a story and told me that he came into prison and A month in, he joined GD. Some shit popped off. He didn't ride because he was scared. He wasn't with all that. And then the GD popped on him and told him he gonna get popped on at every camp he go to. And his next part, he told me I felt bad as fuck. That young man told me in 1 year. Now keep in mind, I've been to 7, 8 prisons in 9 years. That young man told me in 1 year, he have been to 5 prisons because the GDs get on his ass at every camp he go to because of that situation. So he said what he learned to do in the past few months is just to be super weird, seem extremely nasty, do weirdo shit like keep the toothbrush right there after a nigga done already told him not to, or to purposely stick a toothbrush in the toilet then right in his mouth because he feel like that's a survival instinct. Him playing crazy gonna keep people off his ass. And I explained to him, I said, bruh, in some scenarios that work, just, depending on what you're doing. But when it comes to shit like this being nasty, I said, bro, you got some people that really despise stuff like that. You got some people that would be willing to really hurt you by being in a cell that they know they got to be in until the day they die, doing weirdo, goofy, nasty shit like that, bro. I said, you got some people that'll really seriously do something to you, bro. I said, bro, if you want to survive prison and you don't want no smoke, bro, just stay out the way, folks. I said, you're a white boy. I'm not trying to be funny, but in these type of prisons, niggas, kind of be a little weird towards you. You're smaller, so somebody might try you. I say, bro, the only thing I advise you to do as far as that is to 100% don't do nothing seeming like you won't smoke. All that dumb weirdo shit, stop doing that. Be yourself, because you being yourself will make people fuck with you even harder. You feel me? And just be cool, bro. That type of shit you doing to get you beat the fuck up, and probably even worse. I said, now, as far as the shit you got going on with the GDs, I have no control over that. But what I will advise you to do as far as that also, I would advise you to, number 1, get that tattoo completely covered. Number 2, don't ever mention nothing about them prisons you was at where all that shit was happening to you at. And bro, just keep a low profile. To be frankly honest, if I was in that position and I was you and I was small like you, like far as weight, and I know I didn't want no smoke, bro, I'd probably take my ass to the hole, bro. It'll be over with. I probably wouldn't even come out the box. He was like, for a year? I was like, bro, I'm just telling you because the way people get killed and hurt in this environment, that's what I would do. 1 year? And I know I had some dealings with a gang that I know I wasn't really, man, hell, that's what I would do. That's my opinion. And he said, all right, bro. And he took that toothbrush downstairs and threw that shit away. I told him, come clean this fucking sink off. He cleaned the sink off. And, I had told him I ain't gonna say shit, because I ain't gonna see nobody do nothing to that little boy, bro. And, when that stow day came, he pulled me over and he told me that he talked to one of the other white boys in the dorm that do tattoos and shit and asked me if I could pay $3 to let him cover the tattoo up and put the tissue in the door so don't nobody come in on the session and see what's going on. And it was kind of, like I said, it was kind of covered, but you could still see all the points and stuff. He had some other little scrabble bullshit in there, but you could see the points for real. And I paid it, bro. Paid $3. He covered it up. And shit, after he got it covered up, that boy, when he took a shower, came and packed all this shit up. I said, where you going, John? He said, man, I'm taking your advice, bro. I'm about to just go lay it down, man. I'm write some letters and stuff. And, when I get out, I'm going to just do the right thing. I ain't going to, you feel me? I said, yeah, bro. When you talk to people on the street, don't ever mention nothing about GD, bro, because you fuck around and get yourself hurt, bro. He was like, all right. And he left, bro. And nigga just got to be theyself, bro. You know what I'm saying? But that's the story. But, bro, that is prison is hard. prison is hard. I got to start talking slower. I feel like I start stuttering and stumbling over my words whenever I try to talk fast. But prison is hard in itself, bro. So when you put yourself in fucked up situations or situations that ain't really you, it makes it harder, bro. I could never imagine being transferred 4-5 times in 1 year, bro. That's just too much going on, bro. Know what I'm saying? So, and then, bro, like that little boy ain't built like that or nothing, bro. That's why I be telling y'all it's best. Stay out of trouble. Do the right thing. Make money, not excuses. To the best of your ability. It's your boy Bill. I'm gone.